Coming up on SA Today, it's election week for student association positions. 2 presidential candidates join us to speak about their platforms. Plus, Bernie Sanders visits Syracuse today. All have the details on the Presidential Hopefuls Rally. I'm Johnny Oliver. SA Today starts right now. Last night, the Student Association approved a final budget of $75,000 for the fall 2016 semester. The approval marks the end of Phil Kramer's time as comptroller. In their weekly meeting, they also discussed the ongoing SA elections, an undergraduate research program, and another mention of the buses that traveled to the Final Four tournament. President Aisha Sadat expressed her positive feedback on the safe transportation for the basketball fans to the men's and women's game.
Fantastic, and we got a lot of really good feedback from all the students that were on the buses. Actually, a lot of kids wanted to join SA because they think that's all we offer.
As of last night, approximately 11.5% of the Syracuse University student body has cast their votes in this year's election. Students can vote for president, vice president, and comptroller. There are also resolutions for 2 bills on the ballot. One, the decision process for prospective cabinet members, and the other, the establishment of diversity affairs within SA. Voting remains open on myslice.syr.edu through Thursday. And with elections ongoing, SA Today reporters have had the opportunity to sit down with the candidates. SA correspondent Elissa Candiotti sat down with Eric Evangelista to learn more about his platform.
Thank you for joining today. I am with Student Association running for president, Eric Evangelista. He is running alongside Joyce Lalonde, and you got to tell me a little bit about why you decided to take on such a important position here.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. We really appreciate it. I have been a member of the Student Association since my first week of freshman year. I've dedicated the entirety of my time at Syracuse to serving this organization, serving the student body, and I've decided after a lot of time and thought and consideration that I am the most qualified and best person for this position and for this job. I have a lot that I want to do, and I've been able to see a lot of the great things that Syracuse has been able to accomplish, but I've also seen the areas where we've been struggling to accomplish and struggling to succeed, and I think that I'm the best person to address those issues.
So what type of issues would be most important for you to focus on if you are elected?
So the platform that myself and my running mate Joyce are running on is called CARE for SU. CARE stands for Committed to Collaboration, Anti-Discrimination, Ready for Reform, and Excited for Excellence. And under these 4 pillars, we have dozens of different policy positions and platforms that we're going to be looking to implement over the year that we are hopefully going to be serving as president and vice president. These include things like increasing access to mental health care, improving the printing capabilities for students across campus at the undergraduate level, extending the hours of the facilities and libraries on campus, improving safety and security for all students, and implementing a new freshman form that will be cross-disciplinary, cross-campus, and will actually be able to address the problems that this campus has during the freshman year.
So absolutely, and I know you mentioned that you've been involved since freshman year, so what do you think in what ways did that help you for this campaign?
I think it just helps me have a better understanding of the bureaucracy that's involved. I think that Joyce has never been involved in SA. She has had no involvement with it. She's had a ton of experience outside of SA from organizations like U100, being an orientation leader, Alpha Zeta Delta. She's coming from that outside of SA experience, and she's going to be able to bring in that new, fresh perspective. I, on the other hand, have the institutional knowledge. I know how to get these initiatives done. I've been able to watch presidents who've been very successful at incorporating their initiatives, student body presidents who have been not so successful in incorporating their initiatives, and I've been able to learn from that, draw on that, and really be able to act on that. And I think that being the only person running for this position at the moment, currently involved with the Student Association, as the only person currently on cabinet, I've really been able to get an inside glimpse into the initiatives that we're currently working on, see where it is that we can improve for the next year, and hopefully further the initiatives that the current president and vice president are working on.
Right, and now, it's coming up, the elections are pretty soon, so what are you most excited about?
I think I'm most excited to just be able to continue working with the student orgs and being able to continue meeting with them, meeting with the students. That's the biggest part. We're here to represent the 15,000 undergraduates at Syracuse, and it's most important for us to make sure that we are hearing their voices, hearing their concerns, and making sure that we're able to bring those back to the administration and work on their concerns effectively and efficiently.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elissa. Vice President Joe Biden has been named the commencement speaker for the Syracuse University College of Law 2016 class. Biden graduated from the school in 1968. He gave the Syracuse University commencement address in 2009, where he received an honorary degree from the university. This year's law school commencement will be held Friday, May 13th at 1 p.m. in the Carrier Dome. A national grid outage left many around campus without power this morning. According to a representative from National Grid, the widespread outage affected more than 4,000 people. Areas affected included Manley Fieldhouse, Lions Hall, Walnut Hall, Washington Arms, and more. The cause has not been released. Today, temperatures were in the upper 40s and skies were cloudy with winds around 16 miles per hour. The mix of clouds and wind made temperatures feel a bit colder, more like the low 30s. Tonight, we should see temperatures drop down and winds should stay around 16 miles per hour. Looking at the 5-day forecast, we've got good news. Temperatures are going to increase this week. Looks like spring is coming back. After partly cloudy skies tomorrow, it should remain sunny through Sunday. Sunday temperatures are even expected to hit the 70s. The rest of the week, it'll rise up to the 60s. After the break, our own Topher Lane sits down with SA presidential candidate Andrew Brindell. Plus, we'll take a look at what's happening beyond the Hill in central New York. Stay with us.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back to SA Today. Now we take a look at another one of the candidates on the ballot this year. SA correspondent Topher Lane sits down with Andrew Brindell, one of the presidential candidates for Student Association.
I'm here with Andrew Brindell, current candidate for SA President. So Andrew, I want to ask you, what made you want to run for SA President?
So my Vice President, Tom Duskowitz, and I have each been on this campus now for a number of years, and through our own experiences, we've seen a lot of issues that we think need to be resolved, and we want to be the ones to resolve them. We think we have very viable solutions to solve these issues, and so we're going to give it a go and try and solve them ourselves.
So what issues specifically do you want to try and solve?
One of the biggest issues that our campaign is focused on is the increasing financial burden on our student body. And we hope that through discourse with the administration, we can hopefully get the cost of textbooks included in the cost of tuition. That's our main goal, but we're realistic, so we are also willing to settle for just having the bookstore sell these textbooks at the cost for which they buy them, rather than charging enormous markups as they do now.
All right, so then in that capacity, current SA President Aisha Sidat wants to add like an athletic fee, which would give students student tickets. Is that something you'd want to continue, or would you want to reduce that as it would be a financial burden in some ways?
Yeah, I actually think that we should move in quite the opposite direction, whereas we already pay student activity fees. We already pay fees for this and fees for that, but we think that we should be doing the opposite and spending less money and getting more. We're already spending an enormous amount of money, and we essentially do already pay for the athletic department. We support them, and we should be entitled to go see these games free of charge because we are students, they are our team. On that same note, that intramural sports, for example, that's one thing where students have to pay an additional money on top of their student activities fees just to form a team for these intramural sports, and we think that that should be free of cost as well.
All right, well, Andrew, good luck on the campaign.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders visited Syracuse today, continuing his trip throughout upstate New York. This morning, he hosted a Rochester Town Hall meeting and then headed to the On-Center Convention Center in Syracuse, accompanied by actors Kendrick Sampson, Rosario Dawson, and Syracuse musician Joe Driscoll. And less than an hour away, Donald Trump held a campaign rally in Rome. Trump spoke at the Griffiths International Airport. Doors opened for the event around 1. Voters were limited to 2 tickets for the event on Trump's campaign website. The Onondaga County Industrial Developmental Agency has approved a 12-year pilot for the Destiny USA Hotel. This means there will be $4.5 million in property tax exemptions on the building and $1.7 million in sales tax exemptions. The company says the project will create more than 70 permanent jobs and dozens of construction jobs. The hotel is expected to open in the summer of 2017. After the break, one last look at the weather, plus what's coming up next on the Orange Television Network.
So, kinda new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it.
You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Up next on the Orange Television Network, stay tuned for Sports on the Quarter, followed by more sports with Orange Press Pass. Then stick around for your entertainment news with Orange Zest at 7, followed by Talking Points at 7:30. Tomorrow, temperatures will increase to the high 40s with partly cloudy skies. Wind speeds will decrease compared to the high ones earlier today. And finally, it looks like winter is over. By the end of the week, we should see temperatures in the high 60s. Now I'm joined by Andrew Scaglione with what's coming up next in Sports on the Quarter.
Well, Johnny, we're going to tell you all about the men's and women's lacrosse team, specifically how Syracuse women eked out a win against Albany, and then how the men start in less than an hour against Cornell.
All right, thank you, Andrew. And that's all for SA Today. I'm Johnny Oliver. Have a great night, Syracuse.
I'm Jay Billis of ESPN.